Hello, it's A Trial by Stone. This is my fourth time recording this review. Okay, so let's get into it. So tonight I want to talk about Beau is Afraid. This would be Ari Aster's third film following Hereditary, which stars Toni Collette. If you're me and you know why I've recorded this now 4 fucking times, then you know that that's a pretty funny thing that I know that off the top of my head now. Anyway. He directed Hereditary and Midsommar, which were 2 A24 films. And then you got Beau is Afraid. So, I'm going to talk about my relationship with this movie, because that's how I like to talk about movies. I have not done a review for a movie in almost 3 years now, so this is totally kind of new for me, aside from doing like Instagram posts of movie reviews, which I was doing for a while, but I kind of got away from that. So I'm going to try this, because I have nights to myself now in my own apartment where I can do whatever the fuck I want. So, yeah, so my relationship with this movie. I saw Hereditary, not when it came out, but not long after, and I quickly grew to love it. I found it very disturbing. Toni Collette is phenomenal in it. I think she was snubbed for an Oscar, but the Academy hates horror movies, so what are you gonna do about that? It sucks, but whatever. And yeah, I fucking love that movie. It's great. And then you have Midsommar, which came out, I think, like a year later, I want to say, starring Florence Pugh. And I did not like Midsommar as much. I did enjoy it. I think it is or at least I thought it was a very cool, disturbing, trippy cult movie, which, to be fair, I'm not incredibly into movies about cults, which is weird coming from a guy who is obsessed over Panos Cosmatos' Mandy, which is a movie about a cult, and Nicolas Cage, but it's more the Nicolas Cage part that I love. But I'm really not into cult movies. I'm just not. I don't know what it is. Granted, I also have not seen The Wicker Man, which I also am aware that really fucking inspired Midsommar. But, again, what can I say? I just haven't seen it. I'm not into cult movies. So, Midsommar came out. Didn't love it as much. I thought it was cool, but I didn't really vibe with it. Like, I wasn't on the same wavelength as that movie for the longest time. I thought Florence Pugh was great. I thought the disturbing stuff in it was cool, well done, and the arc of Florence Pugh was really good. She has a really good arc of her losing her family, and the whole film she's like seeking for this newfound family, and the whole time you have her boyfriend Christian, who she keeps seeking out this relationship with him. She's actively trying to save her failing relationship with him, and he is such a dumbass and a douchebag and does not understand her, that she just can't. It's like a immovable wall kind of thing. She just can't do it, and she gets integrated in this cult, and by the end she finds this family she was looking for, and it's a very good arc. But I just didn't love that movie as much. So a few years pass. Beau is Afraid is announced, and I hear that it's going to be 3 hours long, and it's going to be starring Joaquin Phoenix, who I really like. Specifically at the time, I really like Joker, which, again, at this point in time, right now, as I'm recording this, I think it's okay. It's a good movie. It's not my favorite movie. It's not my favorite performance of his by any means. But it's a good movie. I think it's ripped off from a bunch of others. And I specifically really like him in The Master, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. That movie is great, and he is awesome in it. I also haven't seen Gladiator, but I will get to that at some point. So I don't know his character in that movie very well, but Joaquin Phoenix, great actor, we love him. So I was very interested in this movie, hearing that it was going to come out, and as the ball kept rolling, I kept hearing more and more mixed reviews, and something about like a 15-minute long like intermission-esque sequence that's, I was like, what is this movie? And then by the time it came out, it was either people hated it or people loved it. And for whatever reason, I honestly wasn't even planning on seeing it in theaters, but the trailer had me captivated. It looked fascinating to me. It had this weird, it just had this very strange vibe. And after seeing Everything Everywhere All at Once, I know A24 loves their weird movies, and I do too. I like Houseu, or House from 1977, directed by Nobuhiko Obayashi, I think, or Tetsuo the Iron Man, or Wax, or The Discovery of Television Among the Bees, which no one fucking knows, or just David Cronenberg shit. I love weird movies. I just do. I don't know what it is. But this movie looked weird, and I didn't know what to make of it, and it wasn't getting very good reviews. But for whatever reason, by the time it had come out, I felt deeply compelled to go see it. So I summoned my brother and my father to go watch this movie with me, because, I don't know, that's what we do. So we went to go see it. I would say this movie has a 4-act structure, and by the time you end Act 1, I was pretty into it. I found it very funny, and I was totally into Beau as a character. I find him incredibly relatable. His anxiousness and everything about him, like, I don't know, his inexplicable fear of weird things, it really hits a little too hard for home. But I found him very endearing, and I really enjoyed that aspect of the film. Then it cuts to Act 2, and you meet Nathan Lane, who's saying things like "my dude" and "my brother" and all this stuff, and I'm like, what is going on? This is so weird, and it has such a different vibe. It feels almost like a sitcom at times. It's so incredibly strange. But and at that point of the film, I felt like I had lost what Ari Aster was going for, so it kind of took me out of the movie. And then you get Act 3 with the weird 15 to 20 minute long intermission-esque sequence people were talking about. That really drew me in because it's really weird, and scenes like that really do that to me. But yeah, by the end, with the most batshit fucking insane ending ever put to screen ever, like, I'm still shocked that they greenlit this movie because of that, which I won't spoil. But it, I don't know. I didn't know what to think of it. And I just, I didn't stop thinking about it. So, time passed, and I went to go see this movie again. And I just could not stop thinking about it. To the point where I went to go see it again in theaters with my friends, with one of my now roommates, and I just fucking love this movie. It's one of my all-time favorites. I've seen it 5 times now, according to Letterboxd. But you can follow me if I ever say what my handle is. But yeah, I love this movie. I love it so much. It's so creative and original. Joaquin Phoenix's performance is phenomenal. He plays anxiousness and his weird, like, deeply intoned cowardice is really well represented. And everyone is in on the bit. Everyone is. Nathan Lane, his mom, the girl who plays Elaine, a lot of these actors, I don't know their names. My guy, I love him. He's in everything, but I also don't know his name. The actor from Devs, his therapist, he's great. Everyone's into this movie, and they're doing phenomenal. The set design is insane. In the first half, when he's in the Erectus Ejectus apartment, is especially really fun. There are so many hidden details in it, like the spray painting on the wall is just like kill kids, shoot the Pope, fuck cops, something or other. It's insane. It's so wild. And I would describe this movie, I heard a lot of people describing it as a Jewish nightmare comedy, which I also think is totally accurate. But if I'm like pitching this movie to someone, I would say it's like, if you're afraid of the world because everything in it was amped up to 11, like if cops all were totally, one, terrified to shoot people, and two, we're going to shoot people all the time, which is not too far-fetched from where we live either. And like stuff like that, brown recluses are just all over the place. Everyone is out to get you in this world. It's terrifying. Why would you live there? And what makes it interesting is, and one of the things that, the biggest thing I didn't pick up on while watching it the first time, is how deeply meta it is. I think that's the right word. I know what meta means, but for this context, I think that is the word I'm going for. Where everything is planned from the get-go in the story. And here's where spoilers come in. So I will spoil a little bit. I don't want to spoil the really shocking scene, but if you haven't seen Beau is Afraid, spoilers beware. But here you go. My interpretation of what this movie is, what it's about, is it is about a guy named Beau, obviously, that's what it's called, who he grew up knowing that he was going to die, essentially. His mother told him that from a very young age, if he did a very specific thing, he would die. And for whatever reason, that ingrained itself so far into his mind that he is deeply fucking terrified of everything in the world. Not only just because of that, but also because of how sheltered and how controlling his mother was. That is the point of this movie. It is about controlling mothers, which, if you look at Ari Aster's track record, this man really needs to go talk to his mom. Either that or go to a therapist. This dude's got some issues. But that is what this movie is about. And it's to the, like I said, everything is amplified to number 12. And this is Spinal Tap reference. But, so, yeah, he has his controlling mother. But not only is she controlling, but she is literally made his life from him from the ground up. Not like his life, but like his adult life. Like everything was made by her. You go at the very end of the film, and I have things to back this up if you want to fight me on this, which was very aggressive, and I apologize for that, my humble viewers, for watching my videos, but whoever you may be, mainly my friends, but when he goes to his mom's house at the very end of the film, there is all this imagery because apparently she was some like extremely rich mogul who had this massive business. Apparently she made like something called Perfectly Safe, which is like a shampoo for men, and like razors, and was like a apartment complex building lady. She did all these things, and all of them are in the movie. Like down to what Beau eats at the very beginning of the movie. It has her little MW logo on it. Everything does. Everything ties back to his mom. Everything he does is being controlled by his mother. And that, like, then you have moments like during the whole Nathan Lane segment where his wife, who I wish I could remember the actress's name. Also, I am totally rambling here, so just saying. His wife gives him a little note that says, "Stop incriminating yourself," because he is guilty of something in some way. And by the end of the film, or I would actually argue by the middle of the film, it's revealed to you that, because you don't really know what he's guilty of, or what he at the very least thinks he's guilty of, is he is a coward. He thinks he could have done more. And I think that's the question of this movie is, if you're grown up in a position like this, what control do you have over your life, and how much does that rely on you to make those decisions for you? I don't know. But for Beau, he thinks he's a coward. He blames himself and thinks he's guilty of cowardice. Even though I would argue he isn't. He is just trapped. He compartmentalizes his memories into thinking that they're dreams because of how horrible his mother was. And that's what this movie is. It's like the Truman Show, directed by Peter Weir. There's also a big motif with water, where water is typically associated with peace or tranquility, and instead this is a perversion of that, where every time Beau encounters water in some way, either on a boat on a cruise when he's a kid, or when he's in a bathtub as a kid, or at the very end of the film, it's associated with death or loss in some way. A loss of innocence when he's a kid on the cruise, or nightmares that he's had. Water is not safe, and it's all over this movie. It is all over it. But yeah, a lot of people think that a lot of this movie is symbolism, which I do think there is some, but I don't think that's what it is about. Ari Aster has said a few times, talking about this, that this film is very much, you're not supposed to look deep into it. And it's not that I'm choosing not to look deep into it, but it's that this stuff is plainly in sight for you to understand. And I feel like a lot of people just aren't looking into it. It's kind of a very weird, ironic, backward statement to not look into this thing too much on like a thematic level, but to pay attention to the movie and to see these signs where all throughout it you have these symbols. The movie starts in the opening title sequence where you get the square peg logo and the A24 logo. It starts with an MW logo for Mona Wasserman, his mom. It's all over the movie. It is all over the movie. And I don't hear anyone talking about it. And I just kind of want to put this out there as my thoughts and my reviews and why I love this movie. And two, that I don't really feel like a lot of people have this same take, which is cool. Everyone can have their own different takes. I just think this one specifically. I feel like this movie has a specific thing it's trying to get across on a plot level, and a lot of people kind of missing it. But it's there. It's there to look at, and you can look deep into it, and it's awesome. It's very weird, and you just have to go for it. And it might not be for everyone. This movie definitely isn't for everyone, especially once you get to the end. But it is a ride I love taking every time. And partially because I just like watching reflections of me, which I know, again, makes me seem pretty weird if I see myself in Beau, but that's that's the case. I fucking love him. He is just, I don't know, I feel bad for him, and I love him. But yeah, that is my thoughts on Beau is Afraid. So I might keep making these videos again, maybe, I don't know. Also, if you couldn't tell, my hair is longer. Probably noticed. No, I have moved out my own, so I just have a lot of free time to myself now. So I might keep doing this. I remember really liking making reviews, and I wanted to hopefully do something more than that someday. So we'll see where I go. So keep watching. Also, if me cursing or vaping makes you upset, then it means you're probably one of my family members. And to be honest, I don't really care. This is who I am. This is what I do. I don't know. I've come to accept myself, and we'll have that conversation one day, but a little too personal for now. So, yeah, sorry to end on that note. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. This is The Trial by Stone. I may or may not upload this. We will see. Bye-bye.